Jake talked a little bit about conversations with Germany regarding Nord Stream 2. Can you at all characterize the process of arriving at some sort of an agreement about what might happen involving Nord Stream 2 if Russia is to move forward? And does the administration have any regrets at this point about waiving sanctions against Nord Stream 2 back this spring?
Well, I would first note that, and Jake broadly referenced this, but back in July, there was a joint statement of the United States and Germany on support for Ukraine, energy security, and our climate goals. And what it conveyed in there is, quote, that it made in the joint statement, there would be action taken if, quote, Russia attempts to use energy as a weapon or commit further aggressive acts against Ukraine. Obviously, invading Ukraine would be an aggressive act. And part of these discussions are what the contingency planning would look like if they were to take that step. That is one of the lessons, and I think Mara asked this very good question yesterday and today about what are the lessons you learned from 2014. What you can look at for people who covered this back then is that there's an enormous amount of preparation, contingency planning, tracking of social media, and the use of disinformation tools. A lot of that is done because we did learn some lessons in 2014 leading up to it. I think what's important to also note is that I know there's a lot of members on the Hill, not a lot, some who are vocal, who are conveying that Nord Stream 2 is the answer here. And what the point Jake was making, or additional steps on Nord Stream 2, is that would actually not be an effective deterrent, that is not effectively going to change the behavior of President Putin. So yes, Germany, in our joint statement, made these commitments. There are a range of economic tools and options we have, our European partners have, should they decide to invade. Obviously, our preference is that we not get to that point.
And then referencing, because you brought up the members on the Hill who often talk about Nord Stream 2, and Jake's July statement, these members say that Russia has taken action that, using gas as a geopolitical weapon. They point to, coercing and manipulating countries in Europe over the course of the summer, taking advantage of the energy crisis, for instance, just a couple months ago. And Biden and Merkel promised sanctions if those events were to transpire. Does the White House believe that what we've seen up until now is not Russia using gas as a geopolitical weapon?
I think what we're talking about here and what we're trying to achieve here is a deterrence of actions that would be detrimental and, of course, hurt the territorial sovereignty and integrity of Ukraine. And what I was referencing is the fact that there are some who are suggesting that this would deter, and our assessment is that it would not. Now, again, we've been having conversations with a range of partners, including our important partners in Germany. And yes, there is a reference, as I referenced in July, to this joint statement. But again, I would really, I don't have anything new on Nord Stream 2 at this point in time. I just think it's important to understand what would be a deterrent and what would not be.